So, one of the interesting things about Noble Ape is that I put it online. Anyone can access it. Anyone can download the source code, the documentation. I'm not charging money for Noble Ape. I've been very lucky in my professional career. Money is not an issue for me, and that's one of the reasons that it's a difficult concept to get around for people that want to make profit out of something, or see something and just like, well, we're trying to make how many millions of dollars out of this thing, and whatever this guy has done, it's immaterial. No, it's not that it's immaterial, it's that I made a very definite decision when I started this thing in 1996 not to charge money for it. And I made this decision specifically because if you're making very bold claims and doing very bold analysis associated with the way people think, associated with the way communities develop, associated with the way war affects communities, if you are making claims associated with things that need to be tested in science, then you better have that stuff accessible and available for anyone to actively use it and participate. And that's one of the reasons that Apple and Intel used it, and one of the reasons that a number of universities have used Noble Ape. A lot of university academics and university students have used the software because it's freely accessible. It's open source. Anyone can download it. They can contribute to it. Apple and Intel in particular, for a long period of time, had their own little version of Noble Ape that they were using to run on multi-core processors. In any number of multi-core processors, they were running Noble Ape on it. And the ability for software to be out there, to be free, to be accessible, not to charge money, not to be associated with some kind of profit motive is really, really important intellectually. And it's been really important associated with Noble Ape. It's one of the things that is so central. So when I contacted the guy's lawyers and all this nonsense associated with this thing, their immediate response was obviously this guy is interested in some profit. And really, their response was, I'm not going to respond with their response. Like, they're basically on a completely different level, completely different plane. They don't understand a thing about what I've done. So either I educate them, which is going to be a slow and laborious process, but they've already said they don't want to be educated, or I just continue to do what I do, which is what I've done. So for the past year, I've been relatively quiet associated with my development. Now, I had a number of things planned that I've cancelled, basically, because of the claims and the hostility and all the related nonsense that went on with this thing. But I'm not going to do that indefinitely. I've wasted far too much time trying to placate this individual and his lawyers, who represent some very curious people, might I add. And, I've continued to develop Noble Ape. I continue to develop Noble Ape. This has been a lifelong development of mine under the name Noble Ape, which up until 2 years ago, no one had any problems with. When, companies tried to start up and call themselves Noble Ape, they immediately found me, they got in contact, they realized that what I was doing was a benefit, and that they shouldn't behave hostilely and stupidly. And this individual and his lawyers decided not to do that. So I've continued to develop Noble Ape. I've continued to just be me, doing what I'm doing. And quite frankly, I'm sick of sitting around just waiting for another individual to behave normally or, responsibly associated with this. There are many levels to these things. And the fact that I've decided to be completely open and upfront and not charge any money and do all these kind of things shouldn't be to my detriment. And it shouldn't be that something that, another individual and his lawyers can try to abuse. So as far as I'm concerned, Noble Ape's going to continue on. And irrespective of threats or what have you, I'm going to continue to do what I do. And I'm continuing to develop something that I've developed since 1996, with a wide variety of intellectual property associated with it. And if this individual wants to continue to pursue whatever he's doing, all I can do is inform public associated with the stuff that I've been doing, and why I've been doing it free and open, and for all the things that this individual is not doing with his work, or choosing to do with his work, or even choosing to acknowledge that, what he's doing. And the previous intellectual property, Mr. Universe is a very fascinating intellectual property. And when you look at that, they're not doing what I'm doing with Noble Ape. They have their own their own track. They changed their name based on this individual's work. But I'm not changing anything, because I'm not doing what he's doing. I'm not doing what Mr. Universe is doing. I'm just doing Noble Ape, which I've been doing since 1996. And quite frankly, I'm going to continue to do it. And doing it in an open fashion, associated with the benefit of the work, and getting the work out to the maximum number of people, it's pretty central to actually the theme of Noble Ape. So, it is what it is. And it's going to continue to be free. It's going to continue to be open source. It's going to continue to have documentation. It's going to continue to have projects that come from it, and folks that use it and take it in different directions. And I actually love it. I think it's an intrinsic part of Noble Ape. The fact that I've put it out for nothing. Constantly. Always accessible. And I've been contacted by a number of people like, oh, well, if you make this, well, if you didn't make this open source and you took this aside, you could get value from this and all this nonsense. No. It's always going to be open source. It's always going to be accessible. No one's charging any money for Noble Ape. Just the way it is. These ideas are more important in the long term, being free and open, than they are associated with being capitalized, and threats and all this other kind of nonsense. I got no time for it. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.